Date 3. My parents chose my brother over me, so I took their beach house and forced a reckoning. I uncovered my parents' secret $500,000 trust fund for my privileged brother. So, I cut off all support for their beach house and family expenses. Weeks later, my father texted, "The house taxes are overdue." No apology, no gratitude. Heartless, I retorted, my voice steady despite the ache. Heartless was Dad giving you $500,000 while I paid for everything. Your grad school, the beach house, their car. His face flickered, guilt, not denial. He knew. You don't understand, he muttered, but stormed off when I didn't budge. His guilt was palpable, a crack in his entitled facade, but it didn't erase the years he benefited from their favoritism. The tension escalated when my father called a family meeting at the beach house to address my betrayal. My cousin Elise, a sharp lawyer who'd heard Nora's account, texted me, "You need to be there. He's twisting everything. I've seen Lena's report. I'll back you." Her support steadied my fraying nerves, but dread coiled in my gut. I'd avoided the beach house since finding the trust fund papers, its cedar walls now a reminder of my exploitation. Still, I agreed, knowing I had to face them. I spent the night before preparing, printing copies of Lena's report. My hands trembled as I stapled pages. The $159,200 total, $136,800 in direct payments, $22,400 in lost interest was my truth, and I'd make them see it. Saturday morning, I drove to Bar Harbor. The main coastline was gray and churning. The beach house loomed, its windows dark from the utilities I'd cut. Inside, aunts, uncles, and cousins filled the living room. Their murmurs halted as I entered. My father stood by the fireplace, mid-speech, his face a mask of righteous anger. Torrin sat beside my mother on the couch, both avoiding my gaze. "We're here to discuss a refusal to support the family," my father said, gesturing at me. The word refusal sparked fury, but I stayed calm, clutching my briefcase. Elise nodded from the corner, her presence a lifeline. "I have something to share," I said, my voice cutting through the tension. I handed out Lena's report, each page a testament to my sacrifices. $62,300 in property taxes, $15,000 in storm repairs, $19,500 for Torrin's education. "I've spent $159,200 over 7 years," I said, while my parents hid a $500,000 trust fund for Torrin. Gasps rippled through the room. Aunt Nora's hand flew to her mouth. Why wasn't she included? She demanded, glaring at my father. He stammered, "It's complicated," but his authority crumbled under her stare. Uncle Cal, usually quiet, stood. "This is wrong, Greg. She's been carrying you all." My mother's eyes dropped, her silence as damning as ever. The room erupted in debate, cousins whispering, aunts questioning. My father tried to redirect, claiming I was exaggerating, but Elise cut in, holding up the report. "These are verified numbers," she said. "You can't dismiss this." Seeing relatives side with me reignited my sense of worth, a warmth I hadn't felt since the barbecue's casual dismissal. I wasn't alone anymore. Nora squeezed my shoulder, whispering, "We didn't know." Kel added, "You've been treated like a servant." Their validation was a balm, but the family's fracture cut deep. Torrin's head hung low, his guilt now public. My father's eyes met mine, defiant but cornered. I stood taller, the weight of Lena's report grounding me. The beach house, once a symbol of family, was now a battleground where I'd exposed their lies. My childhood flashed before me, diner shifts to afford college while Torrin got tutors, my graduation card versus his lavish party. I'd been the capable one, but now I was the one demanding justice. Yet, as relatives rallied, I felt a pang of grief. This wasn't just about money, it was about the family I'd loved, now splintered by truth. The ocean roared outside, but I held firm, ready for what came next. The air in the Bar Harbor beach house crackled with tension after I distributed Lena's report, exposing my $159,200 in contributions against my parents' secret $500,000 trust fund for Torrin. Aunt Nora's demand, why wasn't she included? And Uncle Cal's declaration, "This is wrong," had shifted the room's energy. My relative support was a lifeline after years of unthanked sacrifices. $62,300 in property taxes, $19,500 for Torrin's grad school, $28,000 for reunions. My father's stammering defense crumbled under their scrutiny, and Torrin's guilty silence mirrored his retreat at the cafe when I'd called out his complicity. My mother's downcast eyes, unchanged since our kitchen confrontation, stung as much as ever. I stood tall, Lena's report my sword, but the family's fracture carved a hollow ache. The ocean roared outside, a storm brewing, and I braced for what came next. Mid-debate, Elise, my cousin and a lawyer, stood. Her sharp eyes cut through the chaos. "There's something you all need to know," she said, holding up a document. "I've been digging into the beach house's records. The deed, filed in 2015, lists her," she pointed at me, "as a 60% owner, added to Dodge estate taxes." Gasps erupted. My father's face drained of color. My heart stuttered. "Owner?" I'd paid for the house's upkeep, $11,500 in storm repairs, $62,300 in taxes, but never imagined I had a legal claim. Elise continued, her payments solidify her majority stake. She could sell her share or force a partition sale. The twist hit like lightning, flipping the power dynamic. My father's leverage, built on guilting me as the capable one, collapsed. I could take the house, their precious legacy. The room spun, relatives whispering furiously. I locked eyes with my father, his defiance now tinged with panic. "You destroy our legacy," he barked, echoing his greedy jab from our confrontation. "You destroyed it," I shot back, voice steel. "By choosing Torrin over me. I've paid $159,200 while you hid $500,000 for him. Nora nodded fiercely, Cal murmuring agreement. I seized the moment. I'll sell my share unless the trust fund is split equally, $250,000 each. My ultimatum hung heavy, the ocean's crash punctuating the silence. Elise handed me the deed copy, her nod urging me on. Relatives turned to my father, their pressure palpable. Aunt Nora said, fix this, Greg, or lose the house. Torrin slumped on the couch, lifted his head. His face was raw. Final update. My parents chose my brother over me, so I took their beach house and forced a reckoning. I uncovered my parents' secret $500,000 trust fund for my privileged brother. So, I cut off all support for their beach house and family expenses. Weeks later, my father texted, the house taxes are overdue. No apology, no gratitude. She's right, he said, voice breaking. I didn't see how much you gave, taxes, my grad school, everything. I benefited unfairly. His admission, unlike his cafe accusations, carried sincerity, a crack in the entitlement I'd seen at the barbecue when he'd asked for gas money. I'll split the trust fund, he added, looking at me. I'm sorry. His words softened my rage, a flicker of the brother I'd once shared lobster rolls with. But trust was a bridge burned. I nodded, holding his gaze, the ache of betrayal lingering. My mother broke her silence, tears streaming. I should have stopped him, she sobbed, hands trembling. I enabled Greg's favoritism. Told myself you were strong enough. I was wrong. Her confession, absent during our kitchen clash, hit harder than her voicemails begging for utilities. I wanted to believe her, but years of her silence through Torrin's tutors, his SUV, his Ivy League parties while I got a card weighed heavy. My father shifted, cornered. Fine, he muttered. We'll equalize the trust fund. His reluctance screamed, but the threat of losing the house, his pride, forced his hand. Elise whispered, get it in writing. I nodded, vowing to secure a legal agreement for my $250,000 share. The room quieted, relatives dispersing into hushed conversations. Nora hugged me, whispering, you're not alone. Cal added, you should have been treated equal. Their support, echoing Lena's report and Mara's advice to protect myself, reignited my worth. I'd walked into this meeting afraid, haunted by my father's lies and Torrin's cafe outburst, but now stood vindicated. The beach house, its cedar walls once a symbol of my exploitation, now represented my reclaimed power. Yet, as I clutched the deed, I mourned the family I'd thought I had. The laughter of reunions, the warmth of grilling lobster rolls, felt like ghosts. I wasn't sure I'd keep my share, its memories were too bitter. I stepped outside. The Maine wind bit my face. The ocean churned, gray and wild, mirroring the storm I'd weathered. I'd been the capable one, paying for their lifestyle while they hoarded for Torrin. My childhood diner shifts, student loans, a graduation card had been a lie of necessity. I'd snapped at Torrin, cancelled his insurance, but those acts, born of pain, led me here. Elise joined me, handing me a pen. Draft the agreement tomorrow, she said. You've got this. I nodded, the deed in my pocket, a weight and a weapon. My father's resistance, my mother's tears, Torrin's remorse, they'd face consequences. I'd fought for my place, not just in the family, but in my own life. Inside, my father avoided my gaze, Torrin sat silently, and my mother wiped her eyes. The family meeting had shattered their facade, just as the trust fund papers had shattered mine. I thought of Lena's $159,200 total, Mara's warning to stop payments, and the My Freedom account had started. This wasn't just about money, it was about respect, stolen from me since childhood. The beach house, now 60% mine, was a symbol of my triumph, but its future was unclear. I'd won, but the cost was a family fractured, a truth too heavy to unlearn. I turned back to the ocean, its roar a reminder, I was no longer their ATM. I was free. The family meeting's seismic shift, the deed revealing my 60% ownership of the Bar Harbor beach house, Torrin's remorse, my mother's tearful confession, and my father's reluctant agreement to split the $500,000 trust fund left me standing taller but not unscathed. I'd exposed their betrayal, from the $159,200 I'd sacrificed to the trust fund they'd hidden, and reclaimed my worth with Elisa's legal bombshell. Yet, as I drove away from the beach house, its cedar walls fading in my rear view, the ocean's roar carried a bittersweet echo. The family I'd loved, the one I'd grilled lobster rolls for at reunions, was fractured. I'd fought for justice, but the cost lingered like salt in a wound. Now, with a legal agreement for my $250,000 share in hand, I turned to rebuilding on my terms. I redirected my finances, no longer drained by $62,300 in taxes or $19,500 for Torrin's grad school. I bought a small cabin in Acadia National Park, its pine walls and ocean view a sanctuary for me alone. The trust fund split added $250,000 to my investments, securing my retirement and fueling my My Freedom account, born after I cut their utilities. Unburdened by family expectations, I felt light. My cybersecurity career no longer a means to their ends. The cabin's quiet replaced the beach house's ghosts, where I'd found the trust fund papers and confronted their lies. Family dynamics shifted slowly. Torrin called, his voice tentative, apologizing again for benefiting from the trust fund. I didn't see your sacrifices, he said, referencing the $28,000 I'd spent on reunions. We met for coffee, cautious but open, rebuilding a fragile bond. My mother started therapy, admitting her silence during our confrontations enabled my father's favoritism. I failed you, she texted, a step beyond her voicemails begging for power. My father remained distant, his greedy accusations still stinging, but I found peace in his absence. Relatives like Nora and Elise became my new support. Their outrage at the meeting, and Nora's why wasn't she included? A reminder I wasn't alone. Walking Bar Harbor Shore, I reflected on my journey. The betrayal, my parents' lies, Torrin's complicity, had forged my strength. I'd been the capable one, slinging burgers for college while Torrin got tutors, but their favoritism taught me to demand respect. I regretted snapping at Torrin for gas money and canceling his insurance, petty acts born of rage, but they were steps toward breaking free. The pain of my childhood card versus his lavish graduation party, the $15,000 in storm repairs I'd covered, had led me to this clarity. I invite you to share your stories. Have you fought for fairness in your family? What did it teach you? Your experiences connect us, just as mine do. Standing on my cabin's porch, the ocean breeze carried away years of resentment. The Maine waves, once a mirror to my turmoil, now whispered freedom. I wasn't just the capable one anymore, I was the one who reclaimed her worth, the architect of a future built on my own terms. Thank you for spending your time with this story. It truly means a lot. Every family drama hides a quiet pain, a silent cry, or a feeling no one talks about. If this story made you feel anything, anger, sadness, or even comfort, drop a comment below. You might be putting into words what someone else has always felt but never